From his decorated military service to his high-profile tenure as governor, DeSantis brings a resume that's hard to ignore. But his potential nomination raises big questions. What would it mean for America's defense strategy? What would happen to Florida if its leader steps onto the national stage? And most importantly, could Ron DeSantis really be America's next defense secretary? Today, we're diving into the facts, the rumors, and the impact of a decision that could make history. The rumors about Ron DeSantis being tapped as Secretary of Defense didn't come out of nowhere. They're part of a much bigger story unfolding within the Trump administration. President-elect Trump's initial nominee for Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, is facing an uphill battle. His confirmation is being threatened by allegations from his past and fierce opposition in the Senate. And with the clock ticking, the administration is reportedly looking at backup options. That's where Ron DeSantis comes in. As a former Navy officer, a decorated veteran, and a trusted Trump ally, DeSantis checks many of the same boxes. But he also brings something Hegseth doesn't: a massive national profile. While DeSantis and Trump have had their differences, especially during the GOP primary, some believe this nomination could be a way to mend fences and bring DeSantis back into Trump's inner circle. But the stakes are high. For DeSantis, taking the role would mean stepping down as governor of Florida, leaving a critical leadership gap in one of the country's most influential states. And for Trump, it's a bold move that could either energize his base, or reignite tensions between the two. So, from a political standpoint, it's tricky, but very possible. But that leaves us with an even bigger question. Would Ron DeSantis be qualified for the job? While the political world debates his potential nomination, one thing is undeniable. Ron DeSantis' military background sets him apart from most politicians. Before his rise in politics, DeSantis served as a Navy JAG officer, embedded with one of the military's most elite units, SEAL Team 1. In 2007, DeSantis deployed to Iraq, where he played a critical role ensuring operations followed legal and ethical standards. From reviewing the rules of engagement to providing real-time counsel during missions, DeSantis was at the heart of some of the military's toughest decisions. For his service, DeSantis was awarded the Bronze Star Medal, a distinction given for acts of heroism or meritorious achievement in combat zones. His deployment wasn't just about sitting behind a desk, it meant living alongside SEALs, understanding the challenges of modern warfare firsthand. This experience gave DeSantis a unique perspective on the military. He wasn't just an observer, he was embedded with the men and women carrying out America's most dangerous missions, witnessing their sacrifices and the complexities of combat up close. Unlike many politicians, DeSantis knows the realities of war, not just the strategies behind it, but the human cost. It's this boots-on-the-ground understanding that could make him a game-changing leader at the Department of Defense. When it comes to understanding the military, few politicians bring the same level of first-hand experience to the table, and that's exactly what makes DeSantis such a compelling choice. It's this boots-on-the-ground military experience that has put Ron DeSantis on President-elect Trump's radar for the job. DeSantis' time in Iraq gave him a deep appreciation for what it takes to lead America's armed forces, from the soldiers on the ground to the decisions made in Washington. Combine that with his strong alignment with Trump's vision for the military, and it's clear why DeSantis is being considered for this role. DeSantis has been outspoken about prioritizing combat readiness and national defense over what he calls distractions like woke policies. That message aligns perfectly with Trump's goals for the Pentagon, making DeSantis a natural ally in reshaping America's military priorities. But it's not just about qualifications, it's about politics too. DeSantis' national profile as Florida's governor gives him star power that few candidates for Secretary of Defense can match. He's a proven leader who's taken on major challenges, from hurricane recovery to pandemic responses, and emerged as one of the GOP's most recognizable figures. And let's not forget, this nomination could also help mend fences. After a heated GOP primary, some see this as an opportunity for Trump to bring DeSantis back into the fold, showing a united Republican front as his administration prepares for the next 4 years. Finally, timing is everything. With Pete Hegseth's nomination facing challenges, Trump needs a backup who can easily win Senate approval. DeSantis's military credentials and executive experience make him a strong contender to overcome scrutiny and secure bipartisan support. For Trump, nominating DeSantis isn't just about filling a position, it's about sending a clear message. America's military will be ready to face any challenge. If Ron DeSantis were to leave Florida for the Pentagon, it wouldn't just be a shakeup in Washington, it would send ripples across the Sunshine State. As governor, DeSantis has been a driving force behind some of Florida's most ambitious initiatives. From responding to hurricanes and natural disasters to reshaping state policies on education, immigration, and public health, his leadership has left an undeniable mark on the state. His departure would leave a significant void in Florida's leadership, raising questions about who could fill his shoes. While DeSantis would have the authority to appoint his own successor as governor, there's no guarantee they would maintain his momentum or share his vision for the state. DeSantis's absence could also create a political opportunity for Florida Democrats, who've struggled to gain traction against his strong Republican majority. A change in leadership might give them the opening they need to push back on policies that have defined DeSantis's tenure. For Florida, losing DeSantis to a national role would be a double-edged sword. On one hand, the state would lose a proven leader who's guided it through some of its toughest challenges. On the other hand, his appointment would highlight Florida's influence on the national stage, a testament to the state's importance in shaping America's future. In the end, Ron DeSantis stepping into the role of defense secretary would be a major win for America, but a significant loss for Florida. If Ron DeSantis takes the role of Secretary of Defense, there's one person who might be more upset than Florida Republicans: Vice President-elect JD Vance. For DeSantis, stepping into the Pentagon isn't just a chance to serve his country, it's a strategic move that could redefine his political future. As Defense Secretary, he'd hold one of the most high-profile and influential positions in government, gaining experience in foreign policy, an area critics have used to attack him in the past. This kind of experience could transform DeSantis from a popular governor into a statesman, adding a critical piece to his resume ahead of a potential 2028 presidential run. And that's where things get interesting, because right now, the Republican heir apparent for 2028 isn't DeSantis. It's Vice President-elect JD Vance. As Trump's vice president, Vance has positioned himself as the natural successor to carry forward the MAGA agenda. But if DeSantis steps into this role and succeeds as Secretary of Defense, it could complicate Vance's plans for his future. Imagine the optics: DeSantis leading America's military, tackling global challenges, and standing tall as a proven national leader. All as JD Vance does the job of a vice president, nothing. For voters looking ahead to 2028, that could be hard to ignore. In politics, narratives are everything. Vance may be Trump's chosen vice president, but DeSantis could leverage this role to reshape his image, presenting himself as the leader who not only understands domestic issues, but has also proven himself on the global stage. This is more than just a cabinet position for DeSantis. It's a chance to challenge the Republican Party's expected path forward. For JD Vance, a DeSantis appointment could turn his next-in-line status into a much tougher fight. But we're just speculating here. Do you think JD Vance would be upset if Ron DeSantis was nominated? Ron DeSantis's potential impact goes far beyond political rivalries and speculation. If he steps into the role of Secretary of Defense, his decisions could shape the future of the U.S. military and redefine America's place on the global stage. One of DeSantis's top priorities would likely be restoring what he calls the military's core mission. He's been outspoken about combat readiness, criticizing policies he sees as distractions from building a stronger, more disciplined fighting force. Under his leadership, the Pentagon could refocus on recruitment, training, and preparation for modern warfare. But it's not just about building a stronger force, it's about facing global threats. DeSantis has consistently warned about the growing influence of China, calling it America's most pressing adversary. As Secretary of Defense, he could push for a more aggressive strategy to counter China's military expansion in the Pacific, from strengthening alliances with nations like Japan and Australia, to increasing the U.S. naval presence in the South China Sea. Russia would also be a priority. DeSantis's leadership could see the U.S. doubling down on support for NATO allies and reinforcing America's position as a global leader in deterring Russian aggression. Closer to home, DeSantis's military experience could drive meaningful reforms to improve the lives of veterans and their families. From healthcare to education benefits, his personal connection to the armed forces might inspire a renewed focus on the people who serve and sacrifice for this country. Ultimately, DeSantis would bring a combination of military insight, political resolve, and a focus on America's security. His appointment could reshape not only the Pentagon but also the nation's approach to defense in an increasingly unstable world. For Ron DeSantis, the Pentagon wouldn't just be a stepping stone, it would be a chance to leave a lasting legacy on America's defense policy. The question is, what kind of legacy would he leave? If you ask us, Ron DeSantis has the potential to be the best defense secretary America has seen in generations. He brings a unique combination of battlefield experience and executive leadership. As a Navy officer embedded with SEAL Team 1, he witnessed the complexities of modern warfare firsthand. He understands what it takes to lead on the front lines and the sacrifices our service members make every day. That perspective is rare among defense secretaries, and invaluable for making decisions that impact the lives of American troops. In addition, his track record as governor of Florida shows that he knows how to get things done. Whether it was hurricane recovery, public health challenges, or standing up to federal overreach, DeSantis proved time and again that he's a leader who thrives under pressure. He doesn't just talk about solving problems, he delivers results. And then there's his vision. DeSantis understands that the military's primary mission is to defend the nation, not to serve as a testing ground for political agendas. His commitment to combat readiness and his willingness to challenge the status quo make him the kind of reformer the Pentagon needs to navigate the challenges of the 21st century. Finally, it's his ability to inspire. DeSantis has shown that he can connect with people, whether it's the troops on the ground, veterans at home, or the American public at large. That connection is what sets great leaders apart, and it's why we believe he could leave a lasting legacy as Secretary of Defense. Of course, no leader is perfect. There will be critics, challenges, and tough decisions ahead. But if you're looking for someone with the courage, experience, and vision to lead America's military into the future, Ron DeSantis is as good as it gets. So, what do you think? Is Ron DeSantis the right choice for Secretary of Defense? Will his leadership strengthen America's military, or will his departure from Florida leave too big a gap to fill? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more insights on the decisions shaping America's future, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.